Kicking off our countdown, number 10 is Dakota Johnson. The 50 Shades of Grey actress isn't new to having her body exposed to the entire world, so if anyone can handle a wardrobe malfunction, it is probably her. And what a coincidence that it happened while she was accepting an award for her role in that movie at the People's Choice Awards in 2016. She went on stage to accept the award, and when she went in to hug the presenter, one of her straps on her crop top snapped and she had to hold her top with one hand while taking the award in the other. She did get some help by the presenter and other people who were on stage, and the good news is she was able to make a joke about it. The first thing she said into the microphone was, "It's not like nobody here hasn't already seen my boobs," obviously referring to her role in 50 Shades of Grey, because we saw everything.
At number 9, Cardi B. Seems like even Miss Cardi B isn't immune to the cursed wardrobe malfunction. At her concert back in June 2019, she had a bit of an outfit mishap, and if there's one thing that you don't want to happen in front of thousands of screaming fans, it's to rip your clothes. Unfortunately for Cardi though, that's exactly what happened. While dancing and performing on stage that fateful night, her colorful skin-tight catsuit ripped in the worst place too. It's one thing to like have a seam bust on the inner thigh or the inner arm or something, but for Cardi, she tore herself a new butthole. Yep, poor Cardi had her catsuit ripped right up the butt crack. That kind of reminds me of that viral video of that woman twerking on TV when her dress rips up the back. Not a cute look. Luckily, Cardi is not a bashful woman, and this didn't really do much to derail her performance. She left for a brief moment to take off the ripped clothing and soon returned to the stage wearing a bathrobe for the rest of the show.
Cruising into number 8 is Nicky Hilton. Her sister, Paris Hilton, is normally the one dealing with wardrobe malfunctions in the press, but Nicky had her moment too after wearing a sheer peekaboo dress. Now, the thing about a peekaboo type dress is that not all of the dress is sheer, only some parts. Some of Nicky's dress was just regular white material, but then she had these scattered circle cutouts and lines of sheer so that you could see through it and see her skin. What she didn't realize when she tried it on was that the bottom sheer line matched up perfectly with her bum, so when she walked up a set of stairs, the sheer part exposed her whole backside. And on top of that, she decided not to wear underwear with this dress, so the paparazzi got more than what they asked for when she smiled for the camera.
At number 7, Katherine Heigl. You know when you're nervous to speak in front of a large audience and people sometimes tell you to picture the audience naked? Well, what if it was the other way around? Back in 2010, Katherine Heigl was having a big night and was accepting an award for Female Star of the Year at the Show West Awards in Las Vegas. One of the most embarrassing things to happen to her happened on probably the worst night it could have, and it was probably one of the worst nightmares of a lot of public speakers. While on stage accepting her award, the right strap of her dress snapped. Luckily, she caught her dress before a nip slip happened, but it was a close one. Luckily, TV and radio personality Billy Bush was there to hold up Katherine's dress as she continued to give her acceptance speech, but it must have been pretty hard to get through after that. If it was me, I don't know what I would have done in this situation. I would probably just crawl into a dark hole and cry from embarrassment.
Moving on to number 6, we have Tara Reid. We would be lying if we didn't admit that nip slips are a common thing in Hollywood. Whether it's at a red carpet event or during an interview, sometimes the dress moves and things get exposed. This happened to the American Pie actress while on the red carpet for Diddy's 35th birthday party back in 2004. But hers wasn't just like a little slip. Her entire breast was exposed, and the worst part was it happened while photographers were taking her photo on the carpet, so they caught the entire thing on camera. It has been dubbed as one of the worst fashion fails in modern history. But Tara wasn't too bothered by it. She was actually more upset with how people reacted to it. She said people acted like it was the worst crime in the world, but it was just a mistake. She made it clear though that she now uses double-sided tape and doubles up on how much she uses, which is probably for the best.
At number 5, Jennifer Garner. There's nothing wrong with a little shapewear. A little Spanx never hurt anyone. Well, actually that might not be entirely true. Jennifer Garner was hitting the red carpet back in 2014 for the premiere of her new film Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. As she was walking the red carpet with her co-star Steve Carell, her shapewear showdown happened. Seems like as she was moving, her clutch that she was holding caught onto her dress, and she was wearing a sort of wraparound style dress for the event, so when her clutch got caught on the front front panel of her skirt, it pulled along with the clutch and revealed her Spanx underneath. I've seen other pictures of celebrities whose shapewear is showing, and it's really no big deal, but this instance was just a little too much to fly under the radar, you know? Like a bit of waistband showing or a piece of pant leg is barely an issue, but Jennifer's case here, it was just too much of a wardrobe fail to ignore.
Up next, number 4 is Chrissy Teigen. If you've watched any red carpet events, then you've probably seen the very popular style of long dresses that have slits going up to the woman's waist. With a slit being that long, you can imagine all that it reveals. But usually it's secured in place with body tape so that it doesn't move while the celebrities walk down the red carpet or the runway. Sadly, the tape did not hold up for Chrissy at the 2016 American Music Awards, and her goodies were shown to everyone and also captured on camera. The upper half of the slit was actually being held together by big gold safety pins, which was part of the style, but it was the bottom of the slit that failed her. Chrissy isn't one to get embarrassed though, I think we all know that. She laughed it off online and actually gave credit to her laser hair removal center.
At number 3, Nicki Minaj. I relate a little too much to this next wardrobe malfunction, so I feel you, Nicki. You know Nicki, when she gives a performance, she gives a performance. The same was true during her 2014 performance at the VMAs. During her spectacle, Nicki went backstage for a quick change and slipped into a classic little black dress. But it seems that maybe this quick change was a little too quick. She got back on stage and continued her set, and the worst happened. As she was dancing, the zipper from her dress came undone and showed a little bit more than she had hoped. The zipper of the dress was in the front rather than the back, and her chest and stomach became visible, but luckily she was able to hold her dress together for the rest of the performance and even continued dancing while holding herself together. Front zipper clothes scare me so much for this exact reason. Something similar has happened to me, so now I'm very vigilant of my clothing, and I'm sure that after this incident, Nicki is too.
Taking over the number 2 spot is Cameron Diaz. It was in 2003 at the height of her career when she was walking the red carpet for the Charlie's Angels Full Throttle premiere. She would probably agree that this was a very significant event for her and probably the worst timing for a wardrobe malfunction to happen. The good news is it wasn't her outfit that failed her, so she could still rock her very cute little white dress on the runway. But when she arrived to the event, one of her heels broke and she did not have time to replace it. So what did she do? She walked the red carpet in bare feet. She shrugged the whole thing off, and in all the pictures you can literally see her smiling with her co-stars, like with her very noticeable bare feet. She literally didn't care. I love it.
At number 1, Janet Jackson. The Super Bowl halftime show is one of the biggest and most watched shows annually, and I'm pretty sure more people tune in to watch the halftime show than more people tune in to actually watch the football game. In 2004, Janet Jackson was one of the headliners for the show, along with Justin Timberlake and other big name artists of the early 2000s. Now, the halftime show is always a big spectacle with a big production budget and props and costumes, so there's a lot of pressure on performers to make it go off without a hitch. Well, at this show, there was a hitch for sure. During her performance, Janet was wearing a very intricate black leather outfit, and apparently it had detachable parts, because after a bit of an oopsie by Justin Timberlake on stage, Janet's outfit came apart in the most embarrassing way. Justin had accidentally pulled off the right panel covering her breast, and it revealed it to the world. She was left mortified, as you could probably imagine. Remember, millions of people tune in to watch the halftime show, so imagine how Janet must have felt having been exposed to the world like that. Absolutely mortifying. Also, fun fact, there would have been no YouTube platform had it not been for this exact event, because everyone wanted to go see it, but there was nowhere to go see it. So that's where YouTube came in.
And at number 10, Miley Cyrus. This one is the most recent wardrobe malfunction. While Miley was on stage performing during her New Year's Eve special that she was hosting with Pete Davidson, her tiny strappy shirt broke during the performance, and thankfully she was able to catch it before it was a live TV disaster. Miley caught the falling shirt, turned around to expose her bare back, then started walking off stage while still performing. The cameras panned to the musicians playing on stage, and within seconds Miley was back on stage performing in a different outfit, although the red blazer that she came back on stage with was almost as revealing as the other one. Hopefully Miley's stylists learned their lesson with that outfit. And at number 9, Sarah Jessica Parker. Well, on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, SJP embraced the rips on her beautiful dress and laughed it off while showcasing the rips to the audience. While on the show, she wore a green velvet Alberta Ferretti gown dress with a touch of lace on the parts of the dress. After Andy complimented her on the dress, she admitted that she tore multiple rips in the sleeves of the dress. She said, quote, "I love the dress, I borrowed it. This is in no way reflects on the house of Ferretti. Most celebrities would have done everything possible to cover up the imperfections in the dress, but instead she embraced it, believing that they added character to the look. She added, quote, "I kind of dig this, it does something to this dress." And at number 8, Cara Delevingne. Unfortunately, Cara Delevingne has had a few wardrobe malfunctions in her day that exposed quite a bit. The latest was when she was featured on the Friends reunion special when she modeled an iconic dress from the show. The cast of Friends were overjoyed to see Delevingne walking out in a recreation of the very tacky bridesmaids look that Jennifer Aniston's character Rachel wore to her ex-fiance Barry's wedding. It's a bright pink Pepto-Bismol-esque dress and a matching hat that is one of the poofiest I have ever seen. Rachel wore the dress in the season 2 finale, which was titled The One with Barry and Mindy's Wedding. In the episode, Rachel suffers a wardrobe malfunction, and when she steps out in the dress, her bright red panties are exposed. Delevingne copied the exact same scenario and exposed her butt in some bright red panties that were also caught in the dress, exactly the same way that Rachel's had been. And at number 7, Nicky Hilton. Nicky Hilton wore a risque gown with see-through panels that ended up showing off her entire backside while she was walking up the stairs. On July 5th of 2015, Hilton attended the Versace fashion show in Paris, but it's clear she didn't practice going up the stairs in the dress because photographers got some photos of her bare butt showing in the see-through parts of the dress. The mishap happened days before she got married to her fiance, James Rothschild, at the Kensington Palace. And since she was walking a red carpet into the venue, there were tons of paparazzi snapping photos of the awkward blunder. And at number 6, Jennifer Garner. Thanks to celebrities like Kim Kardashian being open about their use of shapewear like Spanx, this wardrobe malfunction is a lot less embarrassing than it would have been back in the day when women pretended they didn't wear these things. While Garner was on the red carpet for a premiere of a new movie, she was posing with co-star Steve Carell when she accidentally lifted up her own dress and exposed her Spanx to the world. The premiere was for the movie Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. Garner was wearing a little black dress by Valentino featuring a multi-layered tiered skirt. Garner was trying to get the perfect pose when she put her clutch to her side. The only problem was she didn't realize she was grabbing at her dress at the same time, which exposed basically everything underneath her dress. Although I'm sure she was glad she was wearing Spanx that day and didn't show off her underwear. Halfway number 5, Janet Jackson. The Janet Jackson Super Bowl incident is easily the most famous because it happened live during the Super Bowl halftime show, notoriously the most watched event in America. At the 2004 Super Bowl, the phrase wardrobe malfunction was coined after her nipple was exposed because of a faulty costume, or intentional stunt. We're not really sure the true story. During the performance, Justin Timberlake clearly took a hold of her shirt and ripped off the part right above her breast. Following the scandal, Janet Jackson took all of the heat, and the public lashed out at her for months, even though it was clearly not her fault, and Justin Timberlake was responsible for the entire incident, like he's the one that grabbed the shirt. The Federal Communications Commission even took CBS to court, seeking nearly $600,000 in fines for the scandalous halftime performance. Both singers issued apologies shortly after. And at number 4, Charli XCX. Charli XCX had a COVID wardrobe malfunction in the comfort of her own home, so thankfully she was able to refilm the incident and it wasn't actually put on live TV. However, because she likes to make fun of herself, she posted the clip on her own Instagram after the awards went live. During the ARIA Awards in November of 2021, Charli presented an award to Justin Bieber and the Kid Laroi for their single Stay. In the mishap after she waved goodbye, the strap of her dress slipped and her breast immediately became exposed. She was obviously shocked and tried to cover herself up as soon as possible, but because it wasn't really live, she was able to laugh it off. She re-recorded her presentation without any nip slips for the actual show, but thankfully she shared the clip to social media so we could all enjoy it. And at number 3, Lil Nas X. This one is my personal favorite for 2021 because it happened on SNL, where the cameras basically never cut. During this May 2021 performance, he was singing his latest hit, Montero, Call Me By Your Name. While performing incredibly intense dance moves, he was wearing very tight pants, and I'm sure you can guess where this is going. At one point he started to pole dance, and that's where it all went downhill. But halfway through the pole performance, Lil Nas X grabbed for his private areas to cover them up after the rip, making sure nothing had shown on television. After the performance, he tweeted, quote, "I know I do a lot of planned shit, but ripping my pants on live television is not one of them." And at number 2, Cardi B. With all the scandalous outfits that Cardi wears along with her dancing, it's not hard to believe she landed on this list. Cardi has actually had a few wardrobe malfunctions go down over the years. One time while she was performing at the Bonnaroo Festival, her jumpsuit ripped right around the zipper and exposed part of her butt to the crowd. Right as it happened, she told the crowd, quote, "I just want to let y'all know that my outfit ripped." But that didn't stop her from twerking, and she continued to perform the set as if nothing happened. Once the rip got too big to ignore, she simply covered it up with a bathrobe, which she wore for the rest of the performance. At one point, it even looked like the bathrobe might have a malfunction of its own. And finally, at number 1, Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle proved she's just like the rest of us when she was caught still having the tag on a new dress that she bought. While she was getting off the plane in the Kingdom of Tonga, paparazzi caught that the tag was still attached to her red self-portrait dress on October 25th. The tag was at the very bottom of the dress, so it's understandable why she didn't notice it beforehand. I don't think anyone was able to see the price because I wonder how much her dresses cost. I mean, that's what I'm interested in. Meghan was pregnant and on a tour through that region for weeks beforehand, so she was probably just too tired to check.